What's good, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be doing the part 2 to our follow through video, and today I'm going to be sharing with you guys the actionable steps for you to be able to muster up motivation and confidence at will to go out and do the things that you desire and that you want and need to do. For those of you guys who did not watch the first video, part 1, basically I spent time creating a understanding of what's going on internally, what may be affecting your ability to be disciplined, and what are some of the symptoms of that, what are some of the effects, what it looks like when you are experiencing a lack of discipline and a resistance to discipline. So if you haven't watched that video, I highly recommend you to watch that video first. That video works to dismantle the shame and guilt that comes with not following through on our goals, so that we can feel a little bit more confident going into this next chapter after I explain to you the steps and give you a nice little quick routine that you can use at any given moment. That confidence is going to be what helps you actually take the actions that I'm providing, and it's important to really start there and create that understanding, because without it, the actions are going to be a little bit more harder to act on. But if you just want to get straight to it and you don't feel like watching that video first, you could probably watch that video after, maybe it'll help. But if you're just ready to get into the actionable steps, I'm gonna give you guys a quick recap on what we discussed in the last video, so that we can just get into the actionable steps. I've been fiending to get into the actionable steps with you guys, because like I mentioned in the last video, this routine has never failed me. It has never failed me. I usually do a good job with follow through and having discipline and motivation, especially even after tough times, after tough experiences, or just feeling low energy, or failing, or whatever the case may be, because of this routine. This routine has served me, and now I'm sharing it so it can serve you guys as well. But before I get to the video, I just want to my nail. I recorded the last video literally yesterday. Today I'm here doing part 2 because that's how passionate I am about sharing this with you. But my nail broke last night. I went on my friends, so I talk with my hands a lot. So if you see this, just know I'm in pain, okay? So I had to wrap it like this so that if anything bumps into it, it doesn't hurt as bad, because this is hurting like a, you know what I'm saying? This is hurting pretty bad. So if you see this little finger, just ignore it. And I wish I could. But anyways, enough about me. I was just giving that little preface, whatever it is. I was just giving you guys that little bit of information real quick. But again, if you guys see me looking down, I have my notes here laid out so that we could really get into it and I don't skip anything that I want to say or that's important. In the last video, we discussed the symptoms of discipline. We're not going to go over that now. If you want to know what those are, again, go back to that last video. I'm going to quickly go over the causes, because that's going to make a little bit more of an understanding for when I get into the steps. So some causes of a resistance to discipline is going to be feeling unsafe, addiction to fantasies more than action, waiting for the perfect time, the perfect moment, perfect circumstances, fear, whether it's fear of success, fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear in any capacity, poor emotional and mental health, different levels of energy throughout, feelings of inadequacy or feeling like you don't deserve it, and a lack of self-trust. Another one is perfectionism, and the last one is misplaced energy. I'm also going to quickly go over the effects so that when I get into the actionable steps, you're going to understand a little bit how these steps changes those effects and how they also combat the causes. So the effects are feeling shame, guilt, disappointment, or self-doubt, shutting down and doing less or nothing at all, easily distracted or influenced by others, comparing your progress to other people, especially people on social media, and just a overall lower confidence and self-confidence. I talked a little bit about how the feminine needs safety. I talked about the masculine energy that exists in women and how we need to exercise that in order to take action to do the things that we want. And I also talked about how the lack of follow-through creates a lack of trust in ourselves and make it difficult the next time that we want to do something or that we want to commit to something. So now let's get into how to muster up that inner motivation, that inner confidence that's going to get us from idea to action, right? Okay. That's going to get us from idea to action. So the first step, a very important step, and that's what I kind of worked to do in the previous video, is going to be become aware. So I have here notice and observe the way notice and observe the ways you show up, the things you're not following through on, and what's getting in your way of doing that. So you want to ask yourself, take some time to really reflect and ask yourself, so what's going on right now? What am I feeling and avoiding? Is there anything that feels daunting or overwhelming or unsafe in our lives and in your life? And what fears is this bringing up for me? So before I did this video, I asked a handful of women, is there anything, actually I'm going to get the specific question, because when I asked these women this question, a lot of them told me that they actually became aware of the ways they were not following through or what is affecting their ability to follow through simply by answering that question. And that is always a great first step. Awareness allows us to bring whatever it is to light, so that we can know when it shows up, so that we can know what's going on internally, and so that we can address it. We cannot create change without first being aware of the thing that needs to change. If you want to take a pen and paper, journal, or save this in your notes so that you can journal your answers to this question, this is going to be a great first step to creating that awareness. So the first question is there anything or multiple things that you struggle with when it comes to following through? The second question is going to be, is there anything that you feel gets in your way of your ability to follow through? That's a great place to start to reflect. Like I said, you could journal it. And the questions that I said earlier, with asking yourself what's going on, is there anything that feels unsafe, those are just good to keep in the back of your head, because once you even start asking yourself those questions, the answers come to you in your day-to-day life. So if you have that question in the back of your head and something happens in life, like say that your friend says this was a dumb idea, you can become aware of the fact that, okay, this commentary made me feel incapable of actually following through with this. You know what I'm saying? So just even having the question, even asking yourself the question, is a great place to start when it comes to awareness. For me, I usually do this in the shower. I like to reflect in the shower, or I use journaling to reflect on the questions. And sometimes just having the question in the back of my mind, it pops up, and I like to write it down so that I can have it for later and just have that understanding. So that's the first step. Become aware. If you want to take out like a pen and paper, or if you want to get your notes in your phone to write down these steps, I think that's a great idea, so that you can save it, so that you can have it at any time, so you don't have to come back to this video. I'm also thinking about typing up these notes and sharing it with anybody who wants, for everything that I talked about in this video, in the last video, and probably the next video after that. So you don't have to come back to the video multiple times to watch it, and you can have those available to you. The second step is going to be to create safety. I have, whether it's a sense of safety within yourself, with a gentleness to try or fail, forgiving yourself for the ways you've shown up in the past and the things you didn't follow through on, or even a sense of safety in your environment. So like a clean room with a candle lit, or just a clean home space, whatever that is that allows you to feel safe. Or even if you just have a small sacred space in the corner of your room, or in the corner of your house, or in your backyard, anywhere that feels safe. Like I mentioned in the last video, women, we thrive on safety. We love to feel safe. Us feeling safe allows us to really blossom and flourish and feel confident and feel capable of doing whatever. When women feel safe, we feel able to conquer the world. So that's why creating a sense of safety is going to be so important. So I mentioned having a clean room. So if your room is a mess, or your home space is a mess, or your desk where you do your homework is just chaotic and unorganized, I think it's a great place to start to clear that up. Just clear that energy up. Allow yourself to feel safe, because visual clutter affects the brain, and it makes the brain feel overwhelmed. It makes it feel like there's too many open tabs pretty much in your brain. Another sense of safety is your self-talk. Now, I mentioned this in the last video that harsh criticism, negative self-talk can all affect our abilities to feel safe. So changing the way that you talk to yourself is going to be super important in creating a sense of safety. So if it's not a external factor, it could be an internal factor. Really be intentional about changing that self-talk, being more gentle with yourself. So if you're somebody who's super hard on yourself and pushes yourself a lot, your way to change your self-talk is going to be more gentle with yourself. So instead of get up and do this and get it done, and you don't got no time to be sitting around, like you're slacking, you want to be a failure, you want to, if you're that type of person and you're really hard on yourself, your reframe is going to be being more gentle. Like, okay, you took a day off and that's okay. Like, get back into it. You know what I'm saying? It's all right to have slower days. It's all right to not want to do it. It's not all right to not feel productive, but still doing enough. I'm a type of person, I push myself a lot. Like, I changed my self-talk a while back, so I'm not really as hard on myself as I used to be, but I could relate to people who are super hard on themselves. Really allowing yourself to feel like you've done enough. Like, it's okay. Like, you spent 6 hours on it today. You've done enough. But still also, like I said, maintaining that balance between knowing when it's becoming coddling. Now, if you're somebody who usually who's not pushing yourself, but if you're somebody who's always critical of yourself, or if you're somebody who has people in your life who's always speaking down on you, you never do nothing, you don't amount to nothing, you're not good enough, you're unworthy, anything of the sort, you may adopt that self-talk. So if you don't get something done, it's gonna be like, oh yeah, they're right about me, I'm unworthy, or I'm just incapable, or I'm stupid, or whatever that case may be. If you're that type of person, your reframe for your self-talk is gonna be, I am capable. I may not have done it, but I am capable, and I know that I can get it done. I just have to take the actionable steps. I just have to implement a disciplined routine and I can do it. You know what I'm saying? Your self-talk is, you can do it. I can get it done. I am worthy. I can amount to something. I will amount to something. Anything of that sort. Another thing I also wrote is find support and nurture. So if you create a safety in your external environment, you're creating safety in your internal environment with your self-talk. You also want to create safety in your community, the people that you're around. So if you're having friendships or relationships or even family members who are making you feel unsafe, like I said, being that voice in your head, or if you have family or friends who don't believe in your vision, who aren't as motivated, or who don't want to create things for themselves, you want to create safety in that space by keeping it to yourself, maybe not sharing your visions with them, or you want to find new friendships, people who can actually relate to your experience and speak life into you. Create safety in your relationships as well. If you have a partner who's always talking down on you, I know it's easier said than done to just leave your partner, but you want to start considering, like, does this feel safe? Is this creating safety for me, or is this making me feel unsafe and contributing to the reason why I am not able to do the things that I want to do? So yes, that's step 2, create safety. Step 3 is going to be create a plan and start small. Start with simple things and begin to build confidence. This will help you with bigger things. So I'm going to do another video on consistency and how to maintain it. But for right now, create a plan. Let's start with that piece. Create a plan. I love a plan. So if your desire is to build a business, create a very, very simple plan. Make it as digestible as possible, something that you can actually attain. Don't start with all the complexities of the things that you have to do in the, that you will do in the future. Just start with maybe just this month. So this month I'm gonna post 2 videos a week for content. And if that feels like too much, 1 video a week for content. If that feels like too much, you can even do 1 video every 2 weeks or every month. What you want to do is you want to make this feel like, if you feel any resistance, if anything in your body feels like it's too much, then you want to dial it back. For example, if your plan is to go to the gym for an hour every day, 7 days a week, right? If you feel that, that seems like a lot, even if it's very slight. Again, this is where awareness comes into key. Once you start paying attention to what's going on in here, you're able to recognize. If you feel like, dang, if you feel like, dang, that feels like a lot, scale it back to 30 minutes for 4 days a week. You want it to be smaller than what you think you can handle. So if you think you can handle an hour every day, do 30 minutes a day. What this does is this creates the capacity and confidence. So if you do have a day where you only feel like doing 30 minutes, or if you do have a day if you don't even feel like going to the gym, but you know, okay, I'm only doing 30 minutes. Like that's less than what I think I can handle overall, right? And you do those 30 minutes, it's easier to do that 30 minutes and feel accomplished than if you had felt like you have to do an hour for 7 days a week and you don't get it done. Now you fall back into that shame and guilt cycle, and you start feeling like, you see, I never followed through. You want this to be small and as digestible as possible. Again, make it smaller than you think you can handle. If it's creating content and you want to do 1 video a week, make it 1 video every other week. If it's school is a little different but for school, if you want to do 4 classes and you think you can handle 4 classes, make it 2 classes. For a business, if you want to do 5 hours a day, make it 2 hours a day. Make it small. Eventually, you're going to build the momentum and the confidence to do more. But right now, for this discipline routine, you want to make it super, super easy so that you could actually start to build that momentum. I'm going to make another video on consistency. We could talk about that momentum. Once you feel confident in your little mini routine, then we could build onto more. But right now, for this video, and for right now where you're at, if you're already feeling overwhelmed, you already have your lack of discipline, start small. The second thing I want to mention is keep it to yourself. So whatever goal you set, even if it's the small goal, even if it's your 30 minutes of gym a day, shoot, I don't care if it's a 15-minute walk a day. Keep it to yourself. Keep it private for now, so no one's watching eyes or opinions of you can taint it. And you can also feel less guilt and shame, or less like you have to prove yourself if you don't get it done. So if you told a friend or somebody that you're setting a goal to spend 30 minutes in the gym, and they already think low of you and your ability, and you don't hit that 30-minute gym, or even just the question of somebody saying like, you didn't go to the gym today, it's gonna create that turmoil internally. If you've experienced it, you know what I mean. It's like, it's gonna give you that dang, like, you know, yes, it could be considered holding you accountable in a way, but right now we're trying to get rid of shame. We're trying to get rid of guilt so that we could be bigger and better. We can do more. Keep it to yourself for now. If you miss a day, this is where that gentle yet firm self-talk comes in. I get it. You're super tired today. You had a long day. You got off of work. It was a really stressful day at work. You did not feel like going to the gym. I get it. Tomorrow, we're back in. Take today, rest up, and then tomorrow we can go back to the gym. That's between you and yourself. Nobody has to know that. Nobody's opinions or nobody's questions or curiosities have to interfere with that plan that you made for yourself, right? That's step 3. Step 4 is commit to yourself. Make a commitment or a covenant with yourself to be the sole human in charge of creating your desired life and giving you everything you want. So a long time ago, I made a commitment to myself that I will take care of myself and I will better myself no matter what. The key here is to not commit to the goal, but to commit to yourself. So if your goal is going to the gym and you made a commitment to take care of yourself, then going to the gym is just one piece of that commitment that you made to yourself. Consider it like an oath. Like, you people get married and they say their vows. You're basically vowing to yourself that you will take care of yourself, that you are worthy enough to take action for it. You know what I'm saying? Just like you would want a man to commit to you and commit to being loyal to you, commit to protecting and providing for you, you want to make this commitment to yourself that you will remain loyal to yourself, protecting yourself and your ideas, protecting your sanity, your emotional being. Whatever is included with taking care of yourself is going to be part of this commitment. So any of those goals will align with that commitment to yourself to take care of yourself. Like I mentioned in the last video when talking about reframing discipline as self-love, it aligns with that commitment. And if it's hard to envision yourself, you can envision a baby that you birthed, and now you will devote yourself, your time, your resources to taking care of this baby and nurturing it to growth. So think of your relationship with discipline now, or relationship will follow through, or even just relationship with yourself and that commitment to taking care of yourself as your baby. You just birthed this newborn baby, and you have to now devote your energy and attention to nurturing this baby and to taking care of this baby, because it's at this point the baby is so helpless. I don't want to say helpless because you're not helpless, baby, but the baby relies on you and depends on you to take care of it, because the baby can't do for itself yet. That's kind of what your discipline is like. Yeah, so right now we'll call your discipline your baby. You know what I'm saying? It's not that strong yet. It's a little low capacity. It's a little overwhelmed. It can't really do much for itself. And now it's your job to take care of this baby and devote all of your time to nurturing this baby. And then I also have here, don't wait for others or depend on others. This commitment to yourself and not to things externally is gonna be that motivator for you to not wait on others. So if you made a commitment to yourself to go to the gym and you're waiting on your friend to go to the gym with you, that's breaking that covenant and commitment to yourself. So instead, you made a commitment to yourself and you have to go to the gym whether this person, and you get to go to the gym whether or not your friend shows up, because the commitment is not to your friend. The commitment is not to the gym. The commitment is to you. I think I did a lot on that one. And step 5, we're almost done here, y'all. Trust me, we don't got a 10-step plan. I only have 6 things listed, so we have two more. It's not going to be a whole lot that you have to follow. The commitment is a one-time thing. Every time you need to regain discipline, you don't need to recommit to yourself. You have to make a commitment to yourself one time and honor that commitment to yourself for the rest of your life. Once you sit there and make that commitment to yourself, this is your duty from now until the day you leave this earth. I have it listed as a step, but it's not a step that you have to do each and every time. You can make it a thing. You could sit there and, maybe write it in a journal. You can make it like a little occasion for yourself. Maybe you take yourself out to eat. Maybe you go buy your favorite snack, dessert, and sit there with yourself and make this commitment. Or you could just literally say in your head as you're watching this video, make yourself your priority. Just like you would commit to anything else. And if you have a fear of commitment, this is the easiest thing that you could commit. Well, let me not say the easiest thing, but this is one of the most beneficial things that you could commit to, and a great way to practice commitment. Instead of practicing with another partner or practicing with a goal, committing to yourself is a great way to practice that commitment. Which leads me kind of to the next step. Step 5 is spend time in your own energy. Even if it's 30 minutes a day, this allows you to learn what it is you really want and what you really need to commit to without outside influences. And you can also learn to trust your own intuition in your decisions. Now, if you guys want me to make a separate video on learning to listen to your intuition, hear your intuition, know what is it saying, when is it speaking to you, and deeper that connection with your intuition, let me know. I would be honored to make that video for you, because it's something I've been learning and something I'm actually experiencing right now on a deeper level. But yeah, so spend time in your own energy. A lot of women are spending too much time with their partners, with their friends, at their job, scrolling on social media, whatever the case may be, and not enough time really sitting with yourself to know what it is that you want. Why is this thing squeaking? Like, y'all hear that? I don't know why this chair is squeaking around. I'm getting thick. Now let me stop. Even if it's a small amount of time, you want to start spending more time in your own energy so that you could recognize if your desires are even yours. You could be following a goal or desire that's not even yours, that your parent might have implemented in your head, or that your friends are doing so that you're doing it too, or that you've seen on social media. How do you distinguish between what is your desire and what is somebody else's? You wouldn't know unless you really spend enough time with yourself and ask yourself questions. So me, I usually do this in the shower. You can start in the shower, cleansing off the day and stagnant energy. Ask yourself questions like, how do I feel today? What do I want? What are the next steps for me? How do I want to start fresh tomorrow, etc. So for me, shower is the perfect place, the best place for me to really just sit with myself, sit with my own energy, especially if I just spent hours doom scrolling, or if I didn't do the things that I wanted to do for the day, or I'm just feeling stagnant, I'm feeling kind of stuck, then what I'll do is get in the shower. And if you're the type of person who likes to talk on the phone in the shower or listen to music in the shower, you really want the shower to just be you and yourself. And this is a perfect time to do it because this is something you do every day. So it's an easy way to implement it into your routine because you're already doing it every day. And that could be your first step with spending time in your own energy. I love a good shower time. It just feels so cleansing. I feel I'm washing off all the energy and the stagnancy and just the yuck feeling I feel for the day or about myself if I didn't follow through. And you could really listen to your own internal voice here. You could really listen to how you feel. Ask yourself questions like, how do I feel about how I showed up today? What is it that I want to do tomorrow? What is it that I want to do better? What is it that I really am feeling driven to do next? Do I really want to do this? Just ask yourself questions. Check in with yourself. Like, whatever you need to ask yourself, just check in. Like, how do we feel today? Feel good? Do you feel accomplished? Do you feel proud? Do you feel shame? Do you feel disappointed? Whatever it is, that's a great way to start that conversation with yourself. And again, that's where you could start bringing in that awareness. It's a good chunk of time to really start to spend in your own energy, and it's something you can do every day without, now I gotta add this to my routine, or I gotta add this to my to-do list to spend time with myself. It doesn't feel like a chore. You just get in the shower, wash yourself, and love yourself, and ask yourself the questions, okay? So the last step I have is set boundaries with your time, your energy, and your work. This is going to be the container where you can hold your desire or goal. Without it, there's nothing really keeping it together. There's no structure around your goal or your desire. This is one of those things that I think is so beautiful about masculine energy, and men who are healthily in their masculine energy, they are so great at setting boundaries. And this is where your own inner masculine can come into play. Should come into play in setting boundaries around your time. Starting with the shower example, if you're in the shower, you set that as your time just for you. No phone calls, no conversations, just you in the shower. If your goal is to build your business, then you set one uninterrupted hour. You make sure you set a boundary around that hour. And I want you to think about boundaries as the container that holds everything together. So think about sugar. Without any container, it's going to be spilled all over the place. So those are your ideas, your goals, your desires, that it's just spilling all over the place without no container, without no structure to hold it all together. But when you pour sugar into a container, now everything is able to really build up, and also it's able to maintain its structure because it's being held, it's being protected. That is what boundaries are. Without boundaries, you're just spilling out everywhere. You're spilling your energy, you're spilling your time everywhere. And again, that's what I mentioned, that misplaced energy. Sometimes it's because there's a lack of boundaries. So with that structure, you're able to be a little more intentional with your time, a little bit more intentional with your energy. I'm also going to do another video about setting boundaries. I feel like that's a whole other topic in itself, especially with women. Sometimes it's really difficult for us to learn to set boundaries to begin, or to really be firm on those boundaries that we set. But for now, we'll just leave it at this for our 6 steps: set boundaries. So that is pretty much all the steps that I have for you guys today. There was something else I wanted to mention about creating safety real quick. So I mentioned quickly, like, forgiving yourself for the ways that you may have showed up in the past. That is another way for you to create safety. So just really being forgiving of the things that you've done, the ways that you didn't follow through, just anything that you need to forgive yourself for. Acknowledge the places you might have fell short in the past, forgive yourself for it, and that will even that forgiveness can create safety for you in that area with yourself. Okay, now, so let's get into the steps one last time. I'm gonna read them off. If somebody would like to comment them in the comments, that would be wonderful. So first step is gonna be become aware. Notice the things that are preventing you from doing what you want and getting in your way. Number 2 is create safety within yourself, in your external environment, and the people around you. 3, create a plan and start small. Make sure your plan is very digestible. And there's actually something else I want to mention with this too. If you have multiple goals, right? So say you have go to the gym, start school again, get my degree, build healthy friendships and relationships, and you're trying to take steps in all these goals, but it's just kind of scattered. You want to start with one goal first. That's going to be part of your plan. Only one goal. If it's start school, your first thing to do to start school is apply or take the course. Whatever it is. Just start with one of those goals first. And again, we're building that momentum. We want to start small, because if we try to do all those things at once, you're going to fall. I don't want to say you're going to fall flat, but you're more likely to fall flat and be stuck in that loop again. Start with one goal at a time. And once you feel comfortable with your 1 hour of business or 1 hour of the gym, then you could, 1 hour at the gym and 30 minutes. 1 hour on my business and 30 minutes in the gym. And then you get comfortable with that, and then continue. But if you have multiple goals, you don't want to be doing them all at the same time. So yes, step 3, create a plan and start small. 4, make a commitment to yourself to take care of yourself and better yourself no matter what. And this is a one-time step that you should be taking with you for the rest of your life. 5 is spend time in your own energy. Get to know yourself, get to know what you really want, get to know if the direction that you're going in is the right direction for you. You can do this in the shower for 15, 20, 30 minutes a day and build that habit of being by yourself in your own energy without anything external. And last step is set boundaries. Set boundaries around your work, set boundaries around your desires and your goals and your dreams. This is going to be the container that allows you to have structure in taking these desired actions. This is the routine that no matter what I've experienced, if my mental health is not the best, if I just got off of my period and I wasn't doing anything for the past week and a half, luteal gets a little rough for me as well, and I need to restart again, I need a refresh, this is what I go back to every time. Okay, what do I feel? How am I feeling? Where am I slacking in? What am I doing that's making me slack? Is it too much time on social media? Let me clean up my room. Let me clean up my space. Let me get everything together. Let me clear my mind. Let me clear up my space, Okay, what's the next steps that I need to take? And this is where I should have probably did spend time in your own energy first, but this is where I'm kind of like in the shower. Okay, like what do I really want to work on right now? Right now I want to really spend time on building my business. So what's going to be the plan? I'm going to spend 1 hour every other day working on my business. Great. That sounds like a wonderful plan. Does this hour feel like too much? Should I do 30 minutes? Now, 30 minutes might feel like, dang, I'm not really doing anything. Because me, I'm an overachiever. Like, I like to get things done. But it might be a little hard if you're kind of like me and you're an overachiever to only do 30 minutes. It's like, what am I really accomplishing? But if you think about it, it compounds. So if you're doing 30 minutes every day, that's eventually going to get you some momentum. It's actually going to get some work done compared to if you're experiencing a lack of discipline and you're shut down. Now you haven't spent any time on your business in 2 weeks. You got more done in 3 days of 30 minutes than you got done in 2 weeks of no work at all when you try to spend 5 hours a week on your business. You know what I'm saying? And then, like I said, again, the commitment to myself is already made. Set boundaries. Okay, I'm doing my 30 minutes a day. when I'm doing my 30 minutes a day, my phone's on D&D, or even out the room if I don't need it. I'm only on my laptop. I will be undisturbed. I'm not checking social media. I'm not checking emails. Only 30 minutes. It doesn't matter how tired I am. It doesn't matter what time. I'm kind of time oriented, so I like to do things at a set schedule. But if I just have it in my mind, I'm only doing 30 minutes a day. I could do 30 minutes at 11 o'clock at night, or I could do 30 minutes before I hang out with my friends, 30 minutes after I come back from hang out with my friends. It's a little bit flexible. That's important, to have some kind of flexibility, but also still maintaining that structure of having that 30 minutes no matter what, uninterrupted. If your goal is something that does need more time, like I'm going to go to the gym after I get off of work, then, because it makes the most sense, then you keep that structure in terms of time, but keep it flexible on maybe the workouts that you're doing. That's pretty much it. Like, this routine, it's really been my holy grail. Like, whatever I'm experiencing in my life, it could even be during tough times. Like, if I'm going through something actively, not just coming out of something, but if I'm actively going through something and I still want to have that discipline, where I don't want something going on in my life at the time to completely derail me from my goals and what I want to achieve, this is the routine I back out. This is the routine I pull out. So hopefully this routine serves you in the same way. If you implement these things into your life and fit it into your specific goals, into your specific desires, it should really be a great way to take action on the things that you want to create. I'm going to wrap it up here. Again, if you made it this far, you are literally this much closer to creating the life that you desire. All you got to do is implement your little steps, get it done. 5 steps to create discipline at will, create motivation within yourself, confidence, and all the above, all the things. If you guys want to know how to maintain discipline and how to maintain this and be consistent, then check out the next video I'm gonna have in this little part 3, this little series. Check it out, and we'll get into how to continue this long term and how to scale up for when we ready to make our plan a little bit bigger. Thank you guys for tuning in. I love you. I hope you guys implement this whenever you're ready, but as soon as possible. You know what I'm saying? As soon as possible, whenever you're ready. That's that gentle yet firm. Don't wait around. Get to it. But make sure that you're, still okay. Like, it is in a way that honors your body, in a way that honors where you're at right now. But get to it, okay? Love you. Bye.